Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the JJDL week number one for the Good Cop, Bad Cop division. In week number one, we take on Coach Bummer of the Monkey Marauders. And scarily enough, the Pokemon I call the best Pokemon in the whole entire format, Terra King Gambit. So these are the two teams that me and my opponent has. My opponent has Terra Kingambit, Landorus Incarnate Form, Tentacruel, the always annoying Screamtail, Iron Hands, Sinastra, Walking Wake, Talonflame, and my favorite, Sneasel Hisuian form. So my team's Iron Bundle, Glowking, SDN, Corviknight, Terracomoa, Enamus Therian, Zoroark Hisui, Terra Entei, Gastrodon, and Avalugg. So looking into this matchup, it's all about Terra King Gambit. Can I stop Terra King Gambit from destroying my whole team? Can I get rid of Tentacle to free up Iron Bundle? Will Screentail annoy me with Encore? And could I get rid of Iron Hands, which is the main things I was thinking of this match. When I looked to my opponent, Pokemon I thought would come for sure were Terra King Gambit, Landorus, Tentacle, and Screentail. I know those four were coming for certainty. Pokemon I thought that could come. Iron Hands I think looked decent against my team, and then I would pick Walking Wake last, but I could see Sinastra, Talonflame, or Hisuian Sneasel coming. So this is the team that I built for Week 1 versus Bummer. First off, we have Shady Penguin, the Iron Bundle, holding the Choice Scarf item. Reason it's Choice Scarf is because I was afraid of either Lander, Scarfed Lando being a real possibility. Also, Scarfed Walking Wake. I thought Scarfed Walking Wake looked really good in my team, and I didn't want to do anything with it. So we have Choice Scarf Modest to outspeed any of that shenanigans. Then we had 252 Modest Nature to hit with those extremely powerful Ice and Water moves. We're packing Freeze Dry for the Tentacle, Hydro Pump for the Water move of choice, Ice Beam if we don't want to attack Freeze Dry, and Flip Turn. Second Pokemon that came on team was Enamus Therian. Turtle is better with the holding the choice specs. Looking at my opponent's team, I thought choice specs Moonblast did extremely well into his team. Earth Power could hit things such as the Tentacle and Iron Hands. Psychic could also hit the Tentacle if it was Air Balloon or other Pokemon. And then Healing Wish is there in case I need something to be healed up. We have enough speed there, and we have some good max special attack damage. The third I was picked was East is Best, the Gastronith holding the Rocky Helmet. This was mostly to combat the King Gambit as well, with Rocky Helmet, Earth Power, Ice Beam, and Recover. It also did pretty well into the Lando, and it ended up being an attacking variant. Great into Iron Hands here, and decent into Sinastra. The fourth was my Terra Ende, or Spicy Hot Pot, holding the Life Orb. Adamant, we're firing off those Sacred Fire. It's on most things, especially the King Gambit. Stomping Tantrum there, so we're not a sitting duck for Tentacruel and to hit Uncle Mike Iron Hands. Stone Edge deal with Talonflame and Terra Normal Extreme Speed with Lando, Screamtail, Suing Sneasel here, and a Scarf or Booster Speed Walking Wake. Next we have is Glowstone, Slowking Galar holding the Culver Berry, not to live one of those Kowtow Cleaves or Sucker Punch coming its way. We're packing Toxic this week with the goal, hopefully, to Toxic the Screamtail and get it chipped down, as I don't really have that many good Screamtail answers. Psychic, there's a way to hit Tentacruel. Flamethrower is the way to hit King Gambit. Slock upstairs to recover HP, especially against something such like Iron Hands or the aforesaid Screamtail. Last but not least, we have Seabad the Corviknight here, rocking Brave Bird, Heavy Slam, Roost, and Defog. Heavy Slam, I decided to take over Body Press because Tentacle doesn't do much to, doesn't do anything here to the Sinastra Talonflame thing. So I thought Heavy Slam hit the Lando harder. It hit that aforesaid Screamtail, and Brave Bird just normally hits everything else. Defog's there as they could get rocks up with a lot of Pokemon, and I don't really have any other way to do it. And of course, we have the Roost to heal up. Leftovers there to tank some damage, and it is more specially defensive to take some hits from Lando. So this is my team for the week. Let's see how the match went. So we are going to get right into the match here as we see our opponent does bring the aforesaid Terra King Gambit. Iron Hands is there, Lando. Tentacruel, Screamtail. Of those were expected, and we see the Sinastra over Walking Wake, which does make a lot of sense into my team. Allows me to take some water moves, and it doesn't kill with an ice move from Bundle, how especially defensive it is. But with me having Entei, Glow King, Iron Bundle, and even Moonblast from Enamorus, it wasn't, I don't think, that big of a threat. Sure, it sucks for Gastrodon, but overall, I think I had a team pretty much picked out, and let's see how the battle commences. First, we're going to start with Corviknight lead. I almost led an Amherst-Therian. The problem is if it leads Screamtail, then we're just in a bad situation. So I thought Corviknight is pretty free into everything except the Iron Hands. If the Iron Hands, I can always switch into Gastrodon. So we have the Landers lead. See pressure come out first, and we assumed already it's sheer force. So the first thing I'm going to do, see how turn one plays down. We see it has the Smackdown. This is a very cool tech for my opponent. Smackdown's going to be able to sit Corviknight down to affect it for Earth Power, and my Earth Power switch-ins are Enamorous Therian, Hope it doesn't pack Sludge Bomb, a not specially defensive Gastrodon, and really nothing else wants to switch to Earth Power. So great prep for my opponent there, as we just go automatically for the Heavy Slam. Reason I went Heavy Slam over Brave Bird is that Uncle Iron Hands was a pretty free switch in, and I thought that Brave Bird, in case it had something that I overlooked Landorus, I wouldn't want to be that low of HP. See, Brave Bird's Heavy Slam only to 17%. Now I'm put in an awkward situation here. I either have to switch to Enamorous and hope it doesn't pack Sludge from a Predict. I can stay in with Corviknight and click Brave Bird to damage the Landorus as much as possible. I could Roost, but let's see what happens. So I decided to make the safe play and go to Enamorous Therian here, not wanting to take the Earth Power, and it does go for the Earth Power. So the situation's good here. A Specs Moonblast will kill Landorus, and it looks good into everything that's not Kingambit or Tentacruel. Um, I also consider this next turn going for an Earth Power, which is a little bit of a read, but if Landorus switches out and I can catch the Tentacle and or even the Kingambit, it's good here. But unfortunately, they switch into the Tentacle, and I do end up going for the Moon Blast there, doing only 21%. Seeing it only did 21% let me know this Tentacle was AV. It did not have much special defense investment, from my knowledge, but I knew it was max HG AV, which is a pain for me to deal with. And there's no chance, even with the special technical, I am staying in and taking a poison move. So switch into Corviknight to take the aforesaid poison move here, and it goes for the knockoff. That's not great for me, but I do have Roost, so it's okay. Probably would have been more worth to go actually into the Gastrodon here to put some pressure onto it, but I think I wanted Corviknight to dissuade the Sinastra switch in. Here, it's going to go for a flip turn, and we know it does have speed. I don't have any speed investments or major speed investments, so it is faster. Do know, but we did assume that it has some speed investment here. So if we either outspeed the Entei, which is the same speed, or low creep some other things. Flip turn is about 12% as it goes right into Iron Hands as we go for the Roost to heal back up. So turn 5, only really 74% to Anders and nothing out, and some good information here. But we're going to switch immediately right into Gastron. There's no reason to stay on this ever. And it's going to read it and switch into Sinastra here. A great switch by opponent. Probably, in hindsight, could have gone to something such as the Entei. But I think that was a little risky, especially since I needed to break the team, and it was a good switch by my opponent. So we switch right back into the Corviknight, fearing the either Calm Mindset, Strength App, or the Machigacha. Pressure comes out here, and it is just going to be the Strength App as expected. So then we're going to go for the Brave Bird. I needed damage on this thing, even with it having Strength App, and I figured going for the Brave Bird here was fine. It's only going to have Shadow Ball to hit back, which, me being special defensive, not going to do much. At -1, Brave Bird only does 38%, letting me know this is probably more HP and specially defensive, as it just goes for the Shadow Ball and does 24%. We do see its leftovers here, as we just go right for the Roost, as it's going to go again for the Strength App. So at -2 here, we're going to switch out into Cloak and Galar, predicting either going to be a Strength App or switch here. But unfortunately, it is going to go for the Shadow Ball, and I'm going to take 43%. Here, I opt, goes in Iron Hand, as I opt to go for the Slack Off. I was going to go for the Toxic there, either predicting the Screamtail to come in, but I was afraid if the Tentacle came in for free and I click Toxic, that I'm never going to get a chance to hit the Scream Tail there. So ideally, probably what I should have done is just gone for the Psychic there, because I would have read either one of these switches. But again, we're in it for the long haul. Obvious switches to go back into Gastron, as it is going to Volt Switch and fail this time. Good news for me to let it know it has Volt Switch, and I'm going to get probably a free Earth Power out on anything. We learn it has Drain Punch, and the crit sucks. That's a huge crit. I am very I am as you can see from the team builder, very defensive. So that really, really sucks for me, especially the fact that I would have to race team to recover. Crit's unfortunate, but we do get the 16% rock damage, and I actually overpredict here and go for the Ice Beam. I didn't think it'd stay in and go for the Drain Punch. I thought it would switch out into the Landorus or even the Sinastcha here. Fortunately for me, the overprediction is going to cost me here. It only does 13%. It's going to switch out into Screamtail here, and I'm going to go right into Glow King, predicting the Sinastcha switch in, which is fine. Perfect position for me. I'm hoping this thing is Encore, Dazzling Gleams set, so I'm going to go straight for the Toxic here, as unfortunately it is Substitute. Any other Screamtail set probably gets Toxic here, and we got a chip, but now that it is Substitute and I don't have Psychic Noise or anything to hit it, the Toxic is going to fail, which puts me in a really bad position here. So I'm going to switch into Corviknight, and it's going to end up just going for the Thunder Wave, which is fine. I'm okay with Corviknight getting paralyzed. It's already slow. The one thing, I could have switched into Gastron here and maybe gone for the Recover. Promise this Substitute T-Wave recover. Sorry, not Wish, but it's backing Encore. That could be a major bad thing for me. It goes for the Wish here, as we get the Heavy Slam, so we do get the Substitute off, and it's going to either stay in here, or my prediction is go into that Landorus here. It goes into the Landorus as I go for the Brave Bird here. I think Brave Bird has a chance to KO as well, but unfortunately for me, oh, sorry, I'm a liar. I go to Gastrodon here. Knowing the Landorus is probably, I go to Gastrodon and hoping that I can live in Earth Power here, so it's going to get the, and I go for the Ice Beam. But unfortunately, when I was doing counts during that turn, I learned I did not live in Earth Power comfortably or at all, even with the HP. So going right back into Corviknight is my only play. In reality, I should have just went for the Brave Bird first time and stayed in with Corviknight. That's issue with my fault not seeing it then, as it is going to go for the Grass Knot. Good for this Marie is we've learned all three of its moves, and we know it has something for Gastrodon here, as it's going to take 9 HP to a Life Orb. It's going to go for the Smackdown, as I am going to go straight for the Brave Bird here, but we get paralyzed, which is very unfortunate, which means instead of this thing being down to 20% HP and me being able to sack Corviknight to go into Iron Bundle, I have to make a switch in here. I decided to go to the Amherst predicting power. Seeing that you have three moves, I'm not really expecting a Smackdown. I'm expecting a fourth move here and hoping it's not Sludge Bomb. So I go for the Psychic, it's just 51%. Unfortunately, again, for me, that is a max, that is almost a max roll. Meaning instead of me living comfortably and being able to fire off a Specs Moonblast on anything, I can possibly die to the second one. It's about a 30% chance roll here. So me, I'm going to switch into the Corviknight, not wanting to take the roll here, and it is going to go for the Psychic, which is only going to do 17%. It's going to go for the Smackdown, bring me down to 48%, as I am going to be able to get the Roost back up here, even with, you know, I switch back into Gastrodon, predicting it to go for Earth Power, and it goes for Earth Power, killing the Gastrodon there. Gastrodon was my only switch into the Earth Power. Sacking it to go to Iron Bundle was the only way for me to make progress. If I go into the Namorous and it clicks Psychic again, I do just lose the game, and it would be back to risking a roll. So sacking it here for to hopefully get the Iron Bundle in is the play I'm going to go for. So now getting this in, I'm going to just click Freeze Dry here, predicting the Tentacle. But unfortunately, they go to Iron Hand. So we're learning that Tentacle is not the switch in here, and it only does 25%. Since I'm Choice Lock, I'm going to have to switch into the Galar here, since it's my next best opportunity, predicting a fighting type move. It's going to go for the Fake Out, which does 16%. Glad we know it. Now we know three moves, and it's possible it is not carrying the Wild Charge. My last guess is with the Fake Out, it's going to be some sort of Thunder Punch punching glove set. It's going to go for the Volt Switch here. So I'm going to go into the Tentacle, and unfortunately, I do go for the Toxic this time. Again, in hindsight, Psychic's always the play there. They're never going to switch into the Scream Tail after I revealed Toxic the first time. So going for the Psychic was definitely much better on my end there. We're going to switch into the Corviknight here, as it's going to probably go for a knockoff again, but instead it opts to go for the flip turn, putting in Iron Hands, putting me in a bad situation. My other thing is to go back into the slow king out, and we learn it has Supercell Slam. Very bad for me. Thunder Punch I could probably live with comfortably, but Super Slam I do not. So I'm going to have to switch into Namorous and hope it misses here. And it goes for the Volt Switch, meaning it's going to live a turn. Landorus, I'm not faster here, so I'm just going to stay in and sack the Enamorous. Now it's on a 6-1 event, I'm going to bring into the Iron Bundle here, and I am going to go again for the Ice Beam this time. Reason I didn't go for the Freeze Dry is we know this is going to be the switch in here, and Ice Beam was covers as well as the Sinastcha. I'm going to switch back out here into Slow King Galar to take the Fake Out, but realistically knowing I had Supercell Slam, probably should take the Fake Out on Iron Bundle here and just go for another Ice Beam. But it goes for the Fake Out. It's able to get this, and I have to switch out. I don't want to let Slow Tower die, and I figured this is the time to get an Entei. It's better than any other. It goes for Super Slam, and I take 57%. We go for the Sacred Fire here, and we're going to actually pick off the Iron Hands. So the only issue with the remaining team left is it's going to be hard to break the Tentacle here. If I'm able to break the Tentacle, either with some lucky burns, some stomping tantrums, I might be able to come back in this game, but it's going to be an uphill climb for sure. My opponent played super well so far, and bringing Supercell Slam to Fake Out, and especially bringing Substitute was great brings by them. So I'm going to go right into Sinastcha, as I'm just going to go for the Sacred Fire here. I could fear a Shadow Ball here, but I figured with me being in, they're either going to go for a Strength Zap, I figured, or go for a potential switch out here. Go for Sacred Fire, get the burn, and I am going to end up actually sacking this to a Shadow Ball here, which in hindsight, probably the better play is always to go Corviknight here, but I need to make some progress, so I just end up and going straight into the bundle here. We're going to go right for the Freeze Dry in case Tentacle wanted to come in, and Freeze Dry is going to take up the Sinastcha here, putting us in an okay situation, but realistically at this point, the game is pretty much lost. I'm unable to break the Tentacle without Glow King here, and I don't think they're going to ever allow me to get Glow King in. So we see Tentacle come back out, even with the Freeze Dry. Knowing it comes back up, Freeze Dry does not do enough. It only does like 30% with the AV, so I'm going to switch out into Corviknight here. Gets more pressure PP as it's going to go right for the flip turn and go right back into the Landorus here. At this point, there's no point in boosting. I stay in as it actually goes for the Earth Power, predicting the Glow King switch in, and I get the roost off here. Realistically, that should have been the turn I Brave Bird, get as much damage to Landorus as possible, and then I can bring in Iron Bundle and flip turn out into Glow King was probably the answer. But it's fine. That's going to have SmackDown, as this time I am going to go for the Brave Bird, but unfortunately I get paralyzed. If I hit the Brave Bird, I'm pretty sure I'm able to take out the Landorus here, and I'm putting myself in a much situation, but unfortunately this is going to come through, and I'm forced to sack the Corviknight. If this Landorus does go down by Corviknight, I think it's a little bit of a different game, but they probably bring Gambit and just SD then. But if they do that, I am able to just bring out the Slow King, which would live a Kowtow Cleave, and either get a Flamethrower off or a Toxic off, predicting the Terra Ghost. But with Corviknight down, it's basically going to wrap up this game. Um, all I can do now is just spam Hydro Pump and just hope and pray. Instead, I decided to go to the flip turn here, take the slow route, try to get the Glow King in, and hope it switches. It goes for the substitute, as I am going to finally reveal the Psychic. Unfortunately, it's not going to be able to break the sub. It's going to Wish here, and I learned that two Psychics is not enough, meaning this game is as good as over. I get Psychic, learning it was not Dazzling Gleam. We break it. It's back. And right now, we're almost at an endless cycle of just substitute and me using different moves. It's going to Thunder Wave, get paralyzed. It's whatever at this point. Basically playing differential. I get the bundle in as it wishes. I'm going to flip turn to break the sub, fearing the Thunder Wave, go back in Slow King Galar as a Thunder Waves are paralyzed. And what you're going to expect is going to happen. Here comes Substitute again, and the whole cycle is just going to keep continuing until they suddenly decide to switch out and heal the Landorus. Not quite sure they did this. If they just did this subgroup, eventually I would end up stalling myself a PP, and it was going to end up being a different turn. The reason I keep opting into this is if I'm able to get the PP down from Substitute and Wish, and then eventually just click a bunch of slack offs, flamethrowers, or whatever. Eventually, it's going to have to struggle, and I felt if I could get it to struggle against the Glow King, I may have a chance with Bundle here. But unfortunately, that definitely was not the case. It's going to go into Landorus here. I'm going to get parried again on the Psychic. Landorus is going to go to full HP, and I'm just going to end up Earth Powering and Psychicking it, just getting some damage on this, and end up just sacking it. Now we're in a bundle here, and the only option I have is the Hydro Pump. I can't Ice Beam, Gambit just wins. I know it probably doesn't kill Tentacle, but I have to. So going to Stream Tail here as I hit the first Hydro of the season, and it's not even a 2-hit KO. So we're going to hit a Hydro again. Fortunately, they stay in Psychic here. I'm thankful they actually do stay in and give me the differential point because they could probably just go Tentacle and the game's instantly over. But I appreciate them giving me the point here as they're just going to be able to bring in Tentacle. Hydro Pump is going to do a pathetic 17%. They click Mirror Coat, which is a cool tech, and we didn't get to see, so great brains by them. And then we're just going to miss our Hydro Pump, and they're just going to miss Mirror Coat. But it doesn't matter. Hydro Pump again, and Mirror Coat comes back, and we are going to lose the first game of the season 3-0 against Bummer, which is okay. They played really well. I got to give them credit. They brought some really good tech in Mirror Coat. They brought Substitute, which was a great bring, as well as the Landorus. But yeah, full credit to them. They played extremely well. And unfortunately, the Nemesis, Terra Kingambit, is going to bite my words in me saying it's the best Pokemon in the format. Well, it didn't even get to hit the field, and I still lost to the team concluding it. So great play by Bummer. Hopefully, we get to see you either in playoffs or rematch soon. But thank you all for watching. While we are going to start 0-1, hopefully we can rebound week 2 and get on to the right track for the season. Thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.